Every haunting has a beginning and an end. But in this place, one becomes the other. Step closer. The lantern's glow will guide you. What you are about to hear are true stories of hauntings all over the world. Welcome to Help, I'm Haunted. Hello there and welcome. It is Thursday, September 25th of 2025, and oh boy, I've got one for you tonight. Get ready. It's kind of scary. So, this guy here, and don't forget your grifting psychic and all those things. But I got a couple of announcements to make. And there's Shaggy walking through like a little flagpole. So, my darling, let me see. Guten Abend, Zelda. Danke, dein Sau. All right. So, hello, my darlings. Welcome to the House of Zelda, and especially to Help, I'm Haunted. Now, I just want you to know that all the stories that I tell you are true, are ones that I've experienced, ones that I have really... sometimes I just don't know, and I can't even explain it. Like the staircase, that was one that kind of haunts me. You just kind of sort of wonder. We've had some storms here tonight that are pretty intense so far. So if for some reason I lose you, hang in there. I've got my phone ready. I'll come back. We'll finish. If not, well, we'll just hang in there. All right. So we've got a few little announcements, and I would like to thank True Oracle for being here. And because of all of you, it is True Oracle's 4th birthday. We've had that channel now for 4 years. I can't believe it. It's been great. And we're planning on continuing for another 40 years. I can tell you that. So thank you. Wait. I have to give a cheering here. Wait. Where is it? Here we go. Thank you to True Oracle. Thank you. So I love the storms, actually. Let me see if I've got a couple of other little announcements. I did a reading today on the situation of Charlie Kirk. If you didn't see that, it is on the True Oracle page. I pinned it in the community tab, and after we're done, I'll put it in the description. I think it's something that you probably might want to watch. Sort of, kind of. May the 4th be with you all. And so we go from there. And that's not Sammy, that is Bilbo. Going around, there's a lot of energy. And he's been doing this all day. And no, people are like, no, you don't understand. Your cat's hurt. No, they tell me when they're hurting. So no, it's energy. So thank you so much for being here. Now, I've got some exciting news. We're going to have a giveaway later on tonight. I'm going to show you what this giveaway is. Here we are. It is a 1-month subscription to Beacon TV. Now, what is Beacon TV? I think I talked about this. It is the paranormal investigator, Shane Pittman. And if you ever love, like I do, the Holzer files that was on the Discovery, this will be the new Holzer home. The band is back together. Dave Schrader, Cindy Kaza, and Shane Pittman. And I'm going to give you a little preview because that is going to be out in a couple of days. So every Thursday during Help, I'm Haunted. Until Halloween, I'm going to be giving away a gift card. Now, I bought some in bulk. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I bought them in bulk. So I will have to get new stream codes or stream keys. So if you win tonight, be patient until Beacon TV gives me the code for you. Okay. So there we are. So all is well. All is well. So, and I'm so glad that you all enjoyed Misdemeanor last night. Isn't she a gas? I just love her. She's going to come back. She's going to come back. Now, without further ado, I want to show you what we have in store for this new program on Beacon TV. That's it. This is the only place you can see it. Watch this. Give me a second. Let me put it up. And you may have to adjust your sound a little bit. I'll keep quiet during this and I'll make it larger. Here we go.
You guys ready for this? All right. I'm going to go back to the HQ. I'll be listening and watching like usual. If you need anything, I'm just a call away.
You don't have to be afraid of him anymore. He can't hurt you anymore.
Hey! What was that? I've never had this happen before. I lost time for a minute. Any and all spirits of this land, any of the ancestors, something is upsetting the natural balance. Hello? Oh my God.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? Oh man, let me get out of here before it starts really going crazy. That's going to be a great show. And they've already I don't know why Discovery did not continue on with the Holzer Files. To me, that was one of the most authentic paranormal shows. I could not wait. I've talked with Dave Schrader before, not lately, but before. Shane Pittman, great person. Cindy Kaza, one of the true mediums that are out there. This is going to be awesome. And I want to share it with you, my darlings, and give you back. So tonight we will be having the giveaway for the Beacon TV 1 month, and it is streaming on the internet. So it's an internet. It's not like Netflix or any of those. It's you watch it on your browser or your phone or one of those things. So yeah, great. So my darlings, here we go. Let me see if there's any other little things except to watch for a new video with Turtle Boy tomorrow. I will be coming out, and that is with Judge Doolin, Turtle Boy, the situation, where they're going. And between you and I, this is about to take a weird turn. So we'll see. Hello, my darlings, and each and every one of you. Okay, so let's get started. Let me see. Let me keep my phone out here in case I need anything. Oops, I think I just called somebody. All right. Now that's Shaggy. Hello, my darlings. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Give me just a second. So, welcome. And this is going to be fun. Now, I'm going to tell this story. It's kind of long. And we're going to get through it. But we'll see this guy right here. Hold on, my darlings. I got to mute just for a second. Okay, I'm back. All right. Hello, welcome. This is, you know what? I'm going to put the trigger warning up on this one. Give me a sec. Little trigger warning, because sometimes these things can get and sometimes they're unexplainable. Okay. 5 of us a few years ago, and I don't know, my darlings, the background, this is a real photograph. This here. This guy, or I don't know where he is, this monster looking fellow, I added. You'll understand why. The raven, I added. You'll understand why. But if you take a look at the background, now I don't know if it's me or not. Okay, somebody tell me. Put a 1 in the chat if I am pointing to the guy. Put a 1 in the chat so I know what direction to point. Put a 1. I don't think I am. Put a 1 in the chat if I'm pointing to the guy. Do you see me pointing to the guy? This guy right here, put a 1 in the chat. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, I just want to make sure I know what I'm talking about, which sometimes we don't know. Over here, you may have to really focus in. There is a cross. This is in the state of Tennessee, and this is in an area where nobody really knows, and nobody really goes back there, and you're not really supposed to go back there. But yeah, you can see this cross. The interstate runs right around in here. So you can see this graveyard and the little statues. So this is a real photograph. He is fake. I added him, and he is fake, but I added him too. You're going to see. So, this is usual for Tennessee, where I've been before. They always stick these graveyards up and around, and the crosses along the interstate. Yeah, especially when you get closer to Nashville, and from Crossville and Nashville on up and around there. All right, my darlings. Here we go. There were 5 of us. We decided to visit this cemetery. This cemetery is old, as you can see. Some of the stones date back to the 1700s. There were reports of people getting lost for hours in this cemetery. It's not that big, but you can see there's steps in this graveyard. In this graveyard. There are steps all around, and there are places to hide. There are broken mausoleums, like you can see on this side. This is a picture that I actually took because there was so much going on. I just didn't know. It's huge. This is huge. But there's a lot of trees around on this side. There are a lot of trees, and it's like like this, not mountainous, but hilly. And it just seems like it goes in waves. And most of the graveyards, cemeteries in Tennessee go in waves. They sell up lots, they bury people. Then they decide they want to sell more lots, they bury people. So they're in sections, they go by years. I think many other places are like that too, but this one especially. So let me get a drink, my darling. And shout out to the Mid Tennessee Paranormal Group. I do watch it on the Talkie Tick. And by the way, if you watch the Talkie Tick, it is saved. TikTok has been put into the hands of US investors, so it's not going anywhere. All right. So we decided to go up here, and this is taken just as the sun was starting to come down, just when the sun is starting to set. I wanted to get a lay of the land, and I always go first to do some type of evaluation, to watch, to see. And especially, you don't know in the hills of Tennessee, you can step on something and be gone just like that, because there are so many cavernous caves, holes, things crazy. So I wanted to make sure that there was a path. Now, many times what I'll do is if there's dead grass or something, I may pull up a dead grass and lay it across the steps, so I know I've been there before. Because when it gets dark, my darlings, wow. And you know, it's like pitch black dark. So 5 of us, 2 men, 2 ladies. 3 men, 2 ladies. Sorry. Hello. Remedial math course. So we come here. I do my grounding, lay of the land. I've got my iron. I've got all kinds of things. Don't wear earrings. And by the way, thank you again to who sent me the little ghosty earrings, because they're adorable. And so as I went on, and the other lady kind of hung with me. She's not experienced. She's learning. That's fine. They were with a group. And so I would go out with them. I'm very careful where I step, because, you know, the graves most always face east. So if you ever get lost and you end up in a graveyard, you know the lay of the land, because this is east. Okay? So now we're walking around, and you have to also be careful, because there are black bears in the state of Tennessee. There can be panthers. There can be bobcats. There are wild animals. There are snakes, cottonmouth. Yeah, those are dangerous, and they chase you. All kinds of things. So I always wear my cowboy boots, only because I wear the ones that are higher up in case something is, you know, whatever. So we're walking through there, and it was just a little darker than what it is right now. And this yell was no animal. It was a scream. It was loud. It wasn't a growl. We just all stood still and we walked around, because the one thing you want to do is, when you're out these places, you want to be aware, because, as I always say, I'm more concerned about the human realm than I am the paranormal. So just a minute, something just banged behind me. Did you hear that? And that's not a cat. Hello, whatever you are. So we hear this awful scream. this awful yell. And I mean, it wasn't just a right? It was like, what? I mean, it was like a whoa thing. And it was loud. So we stood there because, of course, we want to see, is this a call of the wild? Is something set loose? Is there a person there? Is this you don't know if it's a gag. You don't know any of these things. So copperheads, absolutely. Copperheads, cottonmouths, absolutely. So, and I'm answering Martha. She put in about the snakes. So we stood there, and literally things got quiet, except for this guy. He lands on top of and he looked like a raven. He did not look like a crow. And there's a big difference. You can tell a raven by their throat, mainly, and by their calls. A raven is a type thing, and a blackbird is more of a caw thing, right? So, yes, now I'm going into. So, he's sitting up here doing that thing that they do. And for a raven to do that, that's like, it's time for you to be aware. And he's calling his buddies. It's time for him to be aware, but he was always alone. And he would follow. So if we would go up this hill, he would make sure that he was like right here. He would follow. He would stay close to us, but not close enough to where we could see where he is. Keeps getting darker. We have flashlights. We have cameras. Some of the guys have the recorders, and I have a Polaroid camera. Which I love, by the way, on going on paranormal investigations. You gotta have a Polaroid. All of a sudden, one of the men, his name is Mike. We called him Mick. Don't ask me why. Mick looks at us and says, "We have company." Now, just a little timeout. If you go out on an investigation with me, as a rule of thumb, I always say when we go there, do not mention each other's names. Like, don't yell across the cemetery, "Hey, Zelda," or "Hey, Mick," or "Hey, Betty," or you don't use everybody else's name. Why? Because sometimes it's dangerous. If somebody else is there, you don't want them to know who you are. And secondly, if you're talking to a real entity, they'll say your name without you having to say anything. So he says, "We've got company." So we're all kind of looking around, and we see this dark figure. Now, we all looked, I mean, you could tell we had flesh. You could tell that everything, because I always wear the black anyway, but everybody else was. But you could tell that we were human. And we just kind of stood still. There was a guy that was walking, and he was walking way up in here, and he was walking around just like this, head to the side, and walking very slowly, very zombie-esque. And so we're making hand signals to each other, doing the, be careful, watch out, thank you, I'm here, don't, those things. Now it's getting really dark. You can't see hand signals anyway. So now we've got the buddy system. But now, in the darkness, without flashlights, we can see a guy walking around. He had eyes just like this, and you could see them. They weren't normal eyes, they were just sunken nothing eyes. We decided not to put our flashlight on because doing that kind of thing will inflame something and you just don't want to do it. Think about the old B movies, Frankenstein and all this, and welcome Petey to the stage. And hello, ow. Okay. So now we're all I'm getting scared. I want you to know at this point, I'm getting scared because you don't know if somebody's playing around or if they're in costume or what they're doing. And you don't know if they are armed. You know what I mean? You don't know what that's all about. So we gravitate closer to each other. This dude is like, it's almost as though he sees us, but he's not paying attention. He's walking up and around here. Then he goes back over here. And of course, my thoughts, the one movie that scared the absolute Scheissele out of me, Night of the Living Dead, hello, because it looked like that. And I'm thinking, okay. The one thing we didn't want to do was make any type of quick movement. You don't do any of that. You're always very careful, always respectful. And for me, you're in a graveyard anyway. It's just for me a tradition. You're just respectful. But some of these gravestones, and this is why I took a picture of this. Do you see the markings on this? There were some weird markings on these gravestones. So I just kind of thought, okay, something is here. And one of the other men were supposed to do the research because before we go out anywhere, and if I am invited by a group, I hate to say this, that sounds a little on the snotty side, But I expect if a group invites me, I expect that group to have their homework done, meaning you make sure you get all your history, your genealogy, your folklore, you talk to people, you find out what's going on, and if you need to, if you're going out to a graveyard or anything else, you call the sheriff's department and you say, look, we're going out on a paranormal investigation. We're not vandalizing. Here, this is my idea, and hello, my ID, and it is, I'm responsible for the group. We're not armed, blah, 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 blah. And they're very grateful when you do that because you don't want to have a sheriff's officer come up and startle you and then have, high noon happening, right? So you make sure you do all your homework. What evidently everybody else thought the everyone was going to be doing it and nobody really did know to do anything. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh, this is great. And they're not that experienced. And you know what? I get it. I made huge mistakes. And I've told you about those a few weeks ago. The haunted house with the portal, all that other. You just go out. You're young. You just want to do this. Hello. Well, now I'm thinking, oh, heck, we better get out of here. So we're all standing there talking. And I'm sorry, this one is annoyed because he keeps smacking his tail and he's hitting the mic. So if you hear that, my apologies. I'm trying to hold it. But look at this. Look, I don't know if you can see it, but his tail is just being a little turd. He's mad because I won't let him kiss me there. Hello. There you go. So see. All right. So we're all standing in this group. We all kind of have our backs to each other. We're looking around, making sure that we keep an eye on this guy. He's roaming all around. and we wouldn't see him for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden he would appear again. We're getting ready to leave. We turn around to talk, and the girl is gone. She's gone. She was there. She's gone. Where is she? And we're looking at each other, and the one thing we don't want to start doing is yelling for her. Because if this thing didn't see us, we don't want to draw attention and have it coming, because could we defend ourselves? No. And throwing a rock at this thing probably would not suffice. So now on top of this guy, and we've got little Kaka up here. Well, that's not a good name for him, is it? Little Raven Boy. A little Raven Boy up here going around, clucking the whole time. Now we've got somebody who's lost. And to me, on a paranormal investigation like that, and I've been through it, when somebody goes missing, it is scary and creepy. So they're all kind of looking at me like, what do we do? What do we do? And I'm thinking, oh, shoot, right? And I'm saying a couple of words probably that I shouldn't have said. And I told one of them, go down the hill, because we were up and around here. You had to go down the hill. And remember, I put the grass. I said, follow the grass. So I put the dead grass, just like this thing right here. I would pluck it up and lay it across these steps, so we knew that would be the way to go. I said, follow the grass. You go down the hill. You see if there are any other cars here. We will be okay. We're going to make our way down there, but I'm not leaving this spot because that's where she moved from. You're going to have to call the sheriff's office and tell them that we have somebody missing. And you need to go quickly and try not to make a sound. We did have cell phones back then, so that was a, hello. So he goes down the hill. He's very good at that. And you could tell, all of us are filled with anxiety, wondering where this lady is. I call her a girl because to me, everybody's younger than I am. And so everybody is a girl, everybody, you know what I'm saying? I had to be at least in her late 30s, had a family. So, you're thinking, oh, heck. In the meantime, the guys are kind of looking around because I told them, I said, you need to look, pardon me. I said, you need to look and see if any of these steps are weak. You need to gently push on the gravestones. You need to see if anything is out of place. Could she have fallen in somewhere? Could she have gone somewhere? And we're whispering. All of a sudden we turn around and this guy, like if I'm right here, this is how close he was to me. I froze. Not so much in fear, maybe, but it was, oh gosh, I cannot run this thing. I wouldn't try, because look at all the obstacles that you've got. You can get hurt. If you start running in graveyards and cemeteries and everything else, look out, you're going to get hurt. And that's happened before. I've had scraped leg, even walking through at night. You can get scraped legs, scraped knees, scraped ankles. You can step on a gravestone that's old and not really there anymore, and you can turn your ankle. Just stuff. And all of a sudden, this bird comes and sits there, and he starts clucking. He starts clucking again. And this wee little bird, out of nowhere, I'm not kidding, he was wee little, comes and swoops this thing. Now, I'm not kidding. It just came and went whoosh, right like this. And it turned its attention toward that bird, and that thing turned around. I have chills telling you this. It flipped me out. I'm standing there watching because I'm thinking, I can't keep my eye off this dude now until something happens. In the meantime, the other man comes up and says, I called the sheriff and they said they're about 45 minutes out. Okay, we're here for at least 45 minutes. Okay. Okay. So I looked at this raven and I don't even know what I had in my pocket. Something, nuts, something in my pocket. And I held them out and I said, these are yours. These are yours. And I put him down. I didn't want him to come to me. I put him down and he knew. He went over to the step and then he hopped over and he ate those. And that was it. It was like he was around. And ravens do that. They're intelligent. They're very smart. So he's cucking. He's doing this little caw-caw thing, cocking, clocking, blah, blah, blah. So we're all walking around. And I told him, I said, look, I'm going to stay right here by this gravestone right here. And I want you to take 10 steps this way, 10 steps this way. We're calculating it so nobody gets lost. We have flashlights, but we don't want to turn them on because we don't want this. And seriously, we didn't know if he had any buddies because we kept seeing it going up through and around here. And then it would go over here toward the woods and then it would come back again. So I said, I'm going to stay here because I'm going to keep my eye on that thing because it's not going to come up on me again. That's scary. I'm going to tell you, that startled me. That startled me. Having that come this close. Hello. And the weird thing is that he would walk up and down these steps. He knew this thing, knew this cemetery like the back of his scrawny hand, because he didn't have any problem navigating these steps. He didn't have any light. He didn't have anything. I don't even know if he had any eyes. He didn't have anything. He was just going up and down these steps, walking around, walking around, walking around. It was the most bizarre thing that I've ever seen. And seriously, I thought it was a gag. I really did. And I was a little concerned that maybe these people had told somebody that we were going out and they did this on purpose. So it would be, because those things happen. You get set up and then it's a good gag and you just don't know what to do. So I'm standing there. I can hear these guys whispering, 1, 2, counting their steps off, going in 3 different directions. So one guy went up this way, one this way, and then one that direction toward this broken down mausoleum. I'm standing there. He was walking. He wasn't floating. He was literally walking. You could hear him going up and down steps. You could hear this grass crunchy, crunchy underneath his whatever he had. Crunchy. So we're waiting. And I'm thinking, daggone, what's taking those cops so long? You get to that point where you're thinking, holy mackerel. And I was not about to leave without this young lady because, totally uncool, but certainly we just don't know if she's safe or not. We're standing there, and this guy is walking up through here. All of a sudden, I felt this hand on my arm. Now, I want you to know that embarrassed me. It embarrasses me to tell you, but I can tell you this. Grabbing my arm like that, I left out a scream of the banshee. Seriously, a scream of a banshee. It, because I was all ramped up anyway, I was more worried about her than this, but I would like, oh my God. And it was this girl. And I said, oh my God, where did you come from? And she said, where did you guys go? I said, what do you mean, where did we go? We've been here the whole time. We've called the sheriff's office. And she said, you guys just disappeared. I've stayed right here. I said, hey, have you heard us talking? Have you? She said, no. I've been right here. I said, you've not been right here. I've walked around this tombstone 20 times looking for you. And she said, almost, Mama J's. Maybe now would be a thing. And I said, oh my God. What? Where were you? And she goes, I'm right here. So we went through this. I'm right here. So I'm looking at these guys putting a flashlight up to and pointing to her. And they're like, and they were mad. They seriously were mad. And I can understand that because they thought that she was pulling a joke to scare us. They were so mad. And she was the fiance of one of the guys. And I mean, he was, and I said, look, hello. That not the time nor the place. I don't want to get into this. Now we've got to wait on the sheriff, because one thing we don't want to do is get mad, have a sheriff's office mad at us thinking that we're prank calling them. We waited and we waited. Finally, down here on one of these roads, we saw this Mayberry RFD light, red light going. No siren, no nothing. Coming up. Hey, what are y'all doing? I heard you got somebody lost up here. That's exactly what he said. One of the guys said, yes, sir, I'm the one that called. We thought our teammate was lost, and we were told it would take 45 minutes to come out. And we're so sorry that we called you. It must have been a mistake. It must have been, because didn't want to be in trouble and make that look like, hello. And all of a sudden he says, well, this ain't no mistake. I said, what? And I said, can I ask you a question, sir? Yeah, you can ask me whatever you want. And he's out of the car now. Now, it's his time to shine. He's out of the car. He's got this little brown uniform on. He's got this little hat. Got a little brown uniform. He wasn't any bigger than a minute. And I'm thinking, oh, here we are. Hello. And I said, sir, we keep seeing this person walking around. They're dressed all in black. And he says, oh, yeah, we know who he is. Okay. I said, who is he? Well, ma'am. And then after 25 minutes of, he says, we have other people that come up here and seen him before. And when people come out here, this guy just roams. We know who he is, but we ain't got no idea of who he is. And me being the little sarcastic so-and-so that I am, I said, sir, we're not tourists. We live here. Because, I have to tell you this, when you go into some of the tourist places in the great volunteer state of Tennessee, because I am Midwestern by birth and Southern by the grace of God, they put it on. They just really go for it. They do that. So he looked at me and goes, well, yes, ma'am. So I figured, okay, this is him. Okay. He and his 27 children, I'm sorry, but my mind is just going in that whole direction. And I said, well, sir, can you explain to me or to us, our friend here went missing? And he says, oh, yeah, let me come and show you. And he takes us right up here. He says, she went missing right around this place, didn't she? And this girl, and I'm just, at this point, I don't know what's scarier, this guy or this sheriff's accent. And this girl says, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I did. He said, well, that's where everybody else goes missing too. In fact, sometimes when you go missing right around here, you may end up coming out around the woods. Where did you? And then he's proud. Where did you come out from? Did you come out from here? Did you come out from the woods? Or where did you come out from? Sometimes they come out down from the mausoleum. By this time, I'm thinking, Holy Mother of all heavenly earth. And she says, no, sir. I came out right here. I was yelling and screaming, trying to figure out what is going on. Then I hear it. Have you ever heard of the Bell Witch? And I'm like, oh, here we go. This guy, wait a minute. Okay, here we go. And I said, yes, I've heard of the Bell Witch, sir. Because we were not close, but proximity. He says, well, it's said that blankety blanky blank Bell Witch was up and around these here parts. And she did a few little things up and around here because there were people that were after her that, wanted to take care of her. So she put a few things they called curtains. Curtains? Yeah, they put up a few things that was called curtains. And if you stand in the right place, you just hide behind that curtain. Oh, here we are. So now it's turned from a paranormal investigation to a 3-ring circus. And I said, sir, come on. I'm hungry. I want a piece of peach pie and a coffee. Said, is this true? Or is this something? What do you know about this? He says, oh, that there guy that you see that's walking around here, the one that's dressed all in black, he's the one that she put out here to guard. He guards her. He guards the cemetery. He walks out here all the time. People get lost all the time. They call us, and then all of a sudden they appear again. And I said, let me guess. They got behind the curtains. Yes, ma'am. They got there behind them darn curtains. And that witch, she did that. I said, really? Okay. He said, well, she's buried down yonder. I said, wait a minute. That witch is buried in here? Well, she's not buried in here. This here's a Christian. What did he say? It wasn't a graveyard, wasn't cemetery. I'll think of it. This here's a Christian area, something like that. This here's Christian. She wasn't. They buried her down over here, down over the hill. I said, sir, can you take me there? You sure you're wanting to go? I said, do you have a sidearm with you? Yes, ma'am. And at this point he was huffing because he was so proud. He was just like leading the pack. I felt like we were going to see Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Machine pull up all of a sudden. So I said, sir, have you ever come close to this entity? He said, I seen him. I seen him walk up and around here, and I don't pay no attention to him because I don't want him coming near me. And I said, okay, that's smart. And I said, what about the raven? He says, oh, yeah, she put that there raven, and she keeps that raven here in this cemetery. That raven keeps this guy from going out from all here. So the bottom line is, sir, the raven keeps this guy from going outside of the graveyard. Is that what you're telling me? Yes, ma'am. Okay. I'm buying what you're selling. Okay? I'm buying what you're selling. Hey, look. It's a Friday night. Let's go for it. All righty. Well, here, let me do this. I have to call over to the station, tell him that I'm here, and tell him what I'm doing. So if anything happens to me, you understand, they got to call my wife. Yes, sir. Please take your time. So we go up these steps. And I said, there he is over there. He was over right around the near. He says, yes, ma'am, we're just not going to look at him. I said, why is he here? Who is he protecting? What, don't you think that he would be walking around her grave instead of the Christian graves that are here? Well, ma'am, you'd think that he would be. But from what I heard, he's going to be walking this here hill until the day that the Lord comes back. Okay, let's go. Let's go. So he's got this big sheriff's department. Goodbye, darling. Got this big sheriff's department flashlight. You know, the ones that if you ever got boinked on, it would hurt. And it's one of the long black, you know. Could have been Union County. So we go up over here, and there were some other stairs. So in the meantime, I'm holding on to this girl like there's no tomorrow, because I'm thinking, girl, you ain't going to get away from, you aren't going to be ducking behind any curtain again, because when I'm ready to go, I'm out of here. So she's hanging on to me too. It scared her. I'd be scared too if all of a sudden because she was upset thinking that we just vanished and left her. Oh, how horrible. We go up, he takes us up and around here. Yeah, that's a mag light. That's right, Jerry. He goes up and around here. We go up behind here, up and around, down past the woods. And on the other side of this wooded area, it's steep. It's almost like a drop off. And I'm thinking, oh, here we go. I didn't come to hike. So we maneuver our ways down there. And there were 7 graves. Gravestones, markers. The markers didn't have names. They didn't have anything. But you could tell clearly they were markers. And we went down there, and I'm trying to take Polaroids. And they were coming out totally white, not developed, totally white. So I knew the energy is like, hello. The other guys are trying to take pictures with their cell phones. We get down there, and this, officer, not so bright. I would call him not so bright, okay? Officer not so bright is what I called him. So Officer not so takes us around there, and he says, I don't, ma'am. Don't get too close. I said, what do you mean don't? He said, ma'am, don't get too close. I'm going to tell you, we don't know what's buried here. And you don't want to take nothing home with you. I said, oh no, you're absolutely right. And I said, do you know who's buried here? He said, it ain't who, ma'am. It's what. And that right there gave me the chills more than anything of the whole night. The whole night was anxiety. You know, I just wanted to get in my car and buzz off. But when he said that, it ain't who, it's what. I thought, oh, shoot. Now, it's not over. It ain't over. We're all standing around here looking, because here's the thing that most people forget in investigations. You got to keep looking up. You want to make sure, look, I did that, and poor Sammy looked up. She's mommy's chicken little. All right. You got to keep looking up. You got to be, you've got to be in a position where you recognize your surroundings anytime you are in, because honey, that's when things can happen, when you do not look around you. And you got to look up, you got to look all around. All of the sudden, time out. I take it. There. All of a sudden, we heard the worst crashing, banging, carrying on. And it was this guy. It was this guy. Came down over the hill and fell down into that ravine. Just fell. Ooh. And we're just all standing there. And this cop, you know, Officer Not So, has his hand on his side arm. Like, I'm thinking, oh boy, I hope those bullets are silver, pal. We don't have a chance. So it's laying down. It fell on the ground. It's laying down. All of a sudden, it gets up. It just gets up and starts walking. Just starts walking. I don't know what in the heck. At this point, I'm thinking, where are we? I'm looking at Officer Not So. And I said, what do we do? Because it started coming to, you know, he's making his way. Can't run, because look at him. Hello. Can't run. But he starts coming toward us. I didn't know what to do at this point. I didn't know what I should do. This girl who's with me starts screaming, which is, hello, okay, it's over at that point. I'm looking at her saying, stop screaming, stop that. These guys are like nervous. I'm looking at the cop and he's looking at this that's getting inching closer and closer. Hello, my darling. Look who's here watching. Hi, my darling. Hi. Welcome, and thanks for being here. You're getting in the scary stuff now. I love it. Thank you for coming. Now, I'm going to tell you something, my darlings, just for a brief moment. I'm doing great, honey, and I hope you are too. Thank you. Just for a brief moment, I'm standing there thinking, should I wipe out the back of my pants? What should I do? So I'm looking at this police officer, the sheriff officer, Not So. Officer Not So. And I said, what should we do? Because, you know, you've got a sheriff's office there. You've got a sheriff's officer there with you. So, you know, You you know, he looks at me and says, "Ma'am." I'm thinking, here we go. "Ma'am, now's," he said, he's shaking his head. He said, "Alls I can tell you, run." That's exactly what he did. "Alls I can tell you, run." He didn't have to tell me twice. I haven't moved that fast since 1978. And up over this, I don't even know what got under me, over me, around me. Baby, I was hitting it. I came up off of that ravine. I mean, when I was done, I had no nails. Just so you know, because I was digging in. Going up this ravine. Boom, 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 boom. Because I'm thinking, we, ma'am, that's right, ma'am, run, run. It wasn't run, it was run. Oh my God. I come up off of here, and I'm not kidding. I don't know how I sprinted that long. I mean, this wasn't so many years ago. And I thought, no, I'm not going behind any curtain. I looked for all the areas that I marked, that I put, and I came down off those steps. In fact, this one here, I didn't even hit the steps. I stopped here and I just jumped, boom, down to the bottom, boom, running, running. Because I'm thinking, oh my. So we came now, and these guys are behind. The guys are looking at me like, and I'm like, hey, you don't have to tell me. I might be in this arena, but I'm not stupid. I'm not going to stand there and say, oh no, by the great. No, if it's time to run, bloody all, run, run. So we all make it. Here comes Officer Not So bringing up the rear. We get down to the bottom where our cars are. And that sheriff looked at me and says, ma'am, I would suggest that you don't come back here. I said, you don't have to tell, you don't have to worry. So these people are acting now like nothing is going on. The three guys and this other young lady, they're coming over to me and they're like, well, do you want to get together? I said, do you just know what we did? And of course, I am just like soaked from running like a daggone crazy woman. And I said, no, I'm not going out again. Y'all didn't do your homework. Y'all didn't do your homework. You put us in harm's way. Somebody gets lost. You don't know the legend behind this place. We don't even know what that thing is. And it could be a real person. We don't know because I've never seen anything like this before. Where are you going, sister? I said, I've never seen anything like this before. And I won't go out with you again. What you've done is irresponsible. You could put people in harm's way. Let alone, we've got a sheriff's officer out here who, if he gets spooked, could start, it's the Wild West. No, forget it. I'm not going out again. Not going out again. So they left kind of in a huff. And the sheriff's office, Mr. Not So, is standing there with me. And I said, sir, do we need to make a report or anything? He says, nah. I said, so what really is this place? What is this? And he says, well, legend has it, it's the Bell Witch. And she conjured him up, but he was getting loose. So she made this raven go around and keep him in this graveyard. I said, they were supposed to have called you and told you we were coming out here. Oh, ma'am, nobody called. If they would have called the sheriff, he would have said, oh, no, don't y'all go out there. That's dangerous. Ain't nobody going out there in years. He said, this is the first time I've seen this. When me and my brothers came out, and then, we get into the family tree. When me and my brothers went out there years ago, we saw the same guy. I said, did anybody get caught in a curtain? Did anybody? No, ma'am. We's careful about that sort of thing. We were most interested in this mausoleum down here that got torn down. I said, well, what happened about that? Well, they had some shady characters be buried in that mausoleum. And before you know it, they told us that we all, the townspeople, had to stay away. They were going to tear that down. They were going to tear down this whole cemetery graveyard. And then somebody told us that they just wasn't going to do it. Cost the city too much money, cost the county too much money. So they banned anybody coming here. I said, well, what happens to the people, the families? He says, ma'am, look at the gravestone. There ain't nobody alive to come and visit these people anymore. The last person that was buried here was in 1958. Well, who's the caretaker? Who takes care of this? Oh, there's somebody that volunteers to come out here every now and then. But as soon as they see old guy, they leave. I said, are you ever going to do anything about it? Is there a pastor that's going to come by and bless the... Nah, there ain't no need to. You just stay away. And the raven keeps him in. So, thank you, Aunt BB. So, my darlings, you know me. And I happened to be dating somebody in the law enforcement arena at that time. So I called him, and of course, he didn't have an accent like not so. So I called him, and I start telling him what's going on, and he's laughing. He said, so tell me now, you want to go somewhere and meet for a piece of pie and coffee? Well, yes, something like that, because I've got to tell you what's going on. And I'm a little freaked out, and I got to go home. He goes, no, that's fine. I'm off duty. Let's go. So we sit down in this all-nighter, and I began to tell him. And he sat there and cried. He was in tears, laughing at how I was telling him what was going on. And I took this so seriously. And I said, why are you laughing? He said, the way you tell this and the way he said, I know this poor officer. He is the nicest man and so generous and kind. And the way you talk in his accent is exactly how he talks. And when I was told him, it's like, it ain't what's buried here, ma'am. Or Nate, who's buried here, ma'am? It's what. And he was howling in this place. I mean, the whole cafe was sitting there like mesmerized, trying to listen to us talk. He had his head like this, laughing so hard. Because, I mean, he knew he was very respectful of what I did, and I was very respectful of what he did, and, whatever. But I told him, I said, do you think there's I'm here to ask you this. Do you think there's any truth in this? And he said, years ago, I went on to a call very similar. And he said, all I can tell you is this. It was a bunch of kids. They went up there. Their parents called in because the kids were supposed to go out to this cemetery or graveyard And they'd only been, they had a curfew and they were past their curfew. And he said, the only thing that I can tell you, he said, I believe you. He said, I'm just laughing over this story and how you're telling that you ran so hard up that ravine and you came out of there. And he looked at my hands. I had 0 nails on. They were lost in the cosmic unknown of this graveyard. No, my officer was not one. He was not in Mayberry. No. I couldn't have done that. No. He was a lieutenant. Very good looking. And so anyway, I said, so what's the deal with this? And he said, all I can tell you is this. I always thought this story was bunk because I've heard it before. And he said, why do you think they put the crosses out here? He said, there's crosses, and it's true. There's crosses all over. And he said, we're close to the Bell Witch. We're close to those caverns. We're close to all that. And this area is just rich with all of that. And he thought, he said, I always thought it was bull. He said, until I went up there and I took the father of one of the boys up there with me because we hadn't heard from him. And he said, these boys are football players. They're big. They're high schoolers. They're football players. And he said, we pulled up and they came down crying out of that graveyard. I said, why? What happened? He goes, one of them got lost. One of them was in the woods. They were all trying to find out. And they kept seeing this guy walking around. And he said, I didn't believe it. And he said, so we kept those boys down to the car. They were drinking water. So the father looks at me and says, I don't know about you, but I got to see this for myself. And he said, so they walked up, and he said, it wasn't dark. It was going to start getting there, but it wasn't dark. He said, we walked up past on these stairs. We walked up through. And he said, all of a sudden, I feel this on my shoulder. He said, I turned around, and there the father had his mouth open, like in disbelief. There was this guy walking around, Was he moaning? And he said, I just stood there. He said, what are you going to do? You can't shoot it because you don't know if it's somebody gagging you, and he said, we just watched. He said, this thing walked. I said, that's exactly what I saw. And he said, and then it would just disappear. Yes. And then it would come back. And he said, and then this raven came up. He said, that bothered me. This raven acted like it knew. And he said, I'm going to go ask the sheriff's deputy about all of this tomorrow. And I said, I would appreciate it. And I showed him the Polaroids that I took down by the ravine. And he said, well, I'm going to tell you this. He said, there were 2 girls, high school girls, that were lost about 5 years ago, that the rest of her group that she was with, they went down over that ravine. And then when the rest of them came up, those 2 girls were never found again. I said, oh my God. And he said, yeah. So he said, I'm laughing because of how you're telling the story. I'm not laughing at the story. He said, because I believe it. And he said, that Bell Witch stuff and all that stuff. He said, I never believed that. He said, but at this point, what do you do? I said, I know. It's like you can't explain it. And I said, Officer Not So said that this witch conjured him up. And he said, what do you think? And I said, well, I've been in New Orleans. And I've been close to that zombie island stuff. And I knew of a woman that was kind of the Marie Laveau type. I met her years ago when I was there in New Orleans, in New Orleans. When I met her then, there were 5 women living together. She was the oldest, and her daughter, who happened to be 87 years old, was living with her. And then her daughter, who was in her late 60s, and so on and so on. And there were like 5 generations all living together in this little hut. And they told stories about, what do you call them, zombies, that these witches would conjure up. Did you, Amy, you little dear, that you would conjure up and see, just a minute, I heard something click. Was that you, Amy Love? No. Hold on. Okay. Nothing. But I know you're going to say, okay. So anyway, that's what Officer Handsome told me. Then, so a couple of days later, he called me. We went out. I don't know what. I was always big on going for picnics. Hello, picnics. And he was always, oh, okay, Amy. Thank you, honey. He was always, oh, I get it now. Thank you. He was always on duty. So I would pack a picnic and we would go somewhere and eat. And he knew how I was. So he would take me to these, because in the state of Tennessee, you go to some of these areas and there are abandoned cabins, there's just, yeah, pick up Zelda picks up. Yes, I pick up the officers, like one, hello, right? Hello. And he would, so a couple of days later, it was Sunday. And I said, you know, I'm dying to ask you, what happened? Did you talk to Officer Not So? That's probably not so nice to call him that. He was a nice man, but you know. And he said, I did. And he said, I want you to know that he said, there's a really smart lady. He tried to do that accent, but he was not as good as me. But he said, there's a really smart lady that came out there with these dumbbells. He called those other ones dumbbells. And quite frankly, I thought the same. He said the dumbbells were out there. They didn't call the sheriff's office, and this poor woman, he said, I seen her run up the... He says, I seen her run up that ravine. She looked like a cat going up the side of a mountain. I'm so embarrassed, but boy, oh boy, you don't have to tell. When this little fella looked at me, he says, ma'am, run. Okay, I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing with you. So now I'm embarrassed. Miss Holmes, I know that Will lives in Tennessee. I'm from Tennessee. I'm going to be moving back maybe sooner than y'all think. Y'all, now I'm going to start talking like this. So Officer Handsome and I had this nice talk, and he was telling me about some of the calls that he had in this area about things that happened that were not explainable. Things that you would see, like ghost horses, soldiers, things like that. Officer Not So. Yeah, Not So Bright. It's Officer Not So Bright and Officer Handsome. I was dating Officer Handsome at the time. Listen, Kelly, listen, I did not have time to stand and say, I wonder if I should be wiping out the back of my pants. Baby, I cut and run. I'm not kidding. And I have a rule about that. Or you don't run and you don't scream and you don't, but I broke my own rule then. I scattered up there like a cat. So he said, yeah. And I said, did Officer Barney Five is what I called him to my Handsome, because I didn't want to say Not So. I said, did Barney Five say that he said, oh yeah, he saw it. He said he saw it. He said nobody can explain it because nobody wants to get near it. And he said that's the legend, that's the lore. And seriously, it walked just like this. And of course, then the bad jokes. I told him this is why I don't become a zombie, because there's just too much walking. Who wants to be moaning and walking that much? And then he's laughing because I think that's the one thing that he loved about me, is because I made him laugh, because it's a very stressful job. So I made him laugh. And I said, I wanted to look at him at one point and say, didn't your mother ever tell you to pick up your feet when you walk? This guy was howling. He was laughing so hard. But it's one of those things, my darlings, that it's unexplainable. And that's, again, why I've always said, if you go out with someone else, if you are a guest, make sure somebody does their homework. Now, I will tell you, this is why 98% of the time I do not go out with anyone else, because you just don't know. Ernest T. Bass, it's me, it's Ernest T. That's right. That was about right. And he's a shuffler. He shuffles around. Shuffling, right? Too much walking, too much moaning, right? Who wants to walk and moan that much? But the reality is this, my darlings, always be careful. If you see a beautiful cemetery, you're out in the country, you want to just stop, okay, stay close to your car. Don't venture into the back of the cemeteries, because usually in the back of the cemeteries and in the graveyards are the oldest graves, and you don't know what anybody's done back there. Plus, you don't know what you're going to find, because in a lot of these cemeteries, what I have came up against, sometimes there's a lot of people that go back there and try to cast, and they're trying to do these ritual type things, the S rituals, which no, you don't mess with. Don't mess with them. I would like to go back and see this little fellow and see if he's back there again, but I won't risk it. When law enforcement tells you don't go, and I wonder, could it be why they didn't call law enforcement? Because they knew they weren't supposed to go? So could it be that's why? Could it be? Pardon me. I got to get rid of this on my phone here. So there you go. Meemaw Geo, Lady Zelda, you are from Ohio. I am too. Have you heard about the headless man in the cemetery? I have. I am from Ohio, Ohio, where we have wash cloths, wash rags, Ohio, where if you have people that come over, you don't say, "Did you eat?" It's Jeet, Jeet, Jeet. Yeah. So I was born in Ohio and moved and lived years in the state of Tennessee. That my son and I did a little other excursions elsewhere, and I'm ready to go back. And when I go back, there's a couple of places that I'm going to be going. And my darling Miss Nan, if you are still out there, we may be going a couple of places. Two places that I want to go. One is in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, which is the Titanic Museum. They have a lot of reported things there, and it's I have no doubt. The other place is the Ripley's, believe it or not, in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So that should be a lot of fun. And those are just two places. So we will be going through. But yes, do I believe this? I don't know what it was. I can't explain it. Do those things happen? Yes. Yes. Oh, okay. Miss Holmes is city folk. I'm from the country. But yes, my darlings, this stuff exists. And if you see it, it's like, there are times, and I thought, should I tell this story tonight? And I thought, yes, I'm going to, because you know what? Sometimes you just have to think there are things that are not explainable. There are things in this world that we cannot understand. Understand. For those of you, you know that. New Orleans, they have a lot of things. When I was there twice, and it's one of those things now you don't know. For me, that energy, you don't know if it's real or not. There's an influx of the vampire energy now that's going on. And it's not the vampire historian vampires that I like to hang out with. It's those thirsty blood vampires. So I don't mingle with that. There's I'm going to tell you what, the wannabes, Ghost Adventures. That's right, Jess. The wannabes, to me, they're sometimes more dangerous than the real thing. Because most of the real vampires stay out of sight. The one that I've got the interview scheduled with, he stays out of sight because there is such a difference. When I was there and I stayed in the French Quarter, there was a problem. They shut the hotel down that I was in, or the bed and breakfast thingy that I was in. That was frightening enough. It was a haunted bed and breakfast because I wanted to go there and stay up all night, so I didn't get any rest. And something happened within the hotel, which was an unaliving. So they shut down the hotel. I ended up having to leave. I got in my car and just left the area because it's like, oh my gosh. But yeah, there's a lot of this stuff that happens. I'm not going to tell you, pardon me. I may go back here. I may go back to see if Barney Fife is still there. We'll see. I don't know. I may go back just to see now if I could get a picture of him roaming around. Because that would have been, that was one of the craziest things that I've ever seen. Officer Handsome, well, He rode off into the sunset, and so did I. But it was a nice time. He was a nice man. We just had different outlooks, and I cut him loose because I had other things to do, you know? So there we are. Ghost hunt weekend. Who's doing the ghost hunt weekend is doing an overnight ghost hunt at the Titanic. Okay. I don't go in those groups. I like to go by myself or have a guest. And because you pick up more, it's too much energy. Sometimes people get in there and they want to goof around and stuff. Sometimes they don't. And I'm not good with other energy. And I'm going to tell you what else. I do not go out because many times people think that they've got competition, that they have to, there's competition with me. So they have to prove that they're more psychic and prove that they're more of a medium and prove. I'm not into that stuff. Let's go and let's do a little bit of research. That's what I'm into. So I there we go. Mitchell, absolutely yes. Yes, I will be filming all the visits. And especially, I'm not going to say if, but I'm going to especially say when Attorney Nan and I get to go to 34 Fairview, if the owners allow us and give us permission, I will be filming there as well. Anywhere I go, I'm not going to go somewhere I can't film. So if I can't film, then I may not go. That's just the way it is. Unless, because sometimes you lose your Wi-Fi and you lose your electric and all this other stuff. And there you go. So I will be. Lady Zelda, I have a 360 camera. Well, okay. You're going anyway? Captain Jerry, I have volunteered her. She volunteers herself. She's going to be a good driver for me because I don't fly. I can't fly. It's not that I'm scared. I can't stand that energy sitting so close to me. And if somebody has a little bit of BO or something like that, I can't deal. I can't deal with it. I just can't. And some people think that I'm such a snob because I'll say, look, I need to be close to business class or I need to be close to first class. It's not that. I just don't want to sit by anybody if I have to fly. So there you go. Will I take my Fisher Price with me? I don't have my Fisher Price with me, but I will take the Cat Whisperer. Where is he? He's right here. He's right here. I have him. I will be taking the Cat Whisperer with me. Plenty of cameras. We'll be doing the cameras and I want to try to get a REM pod, but maybe not. We'll do all kinds of things. So yeah, I will be equipped. We will be going, and I will be the one leading the pack. And you're going to see an old-fashioned paranormal investigation. That's what I'm going to do. Quite frankly, I do not like to take a lot of equipment with me. I will be taking a Polaroid camera so you can see things coming out right from the beginning. So I will be taking those. I will be doing all kinds of goodies. So yeah, I'm going to show you how I ground myself. I'm going to show you all about the iron stake that I take out with me. I'm going to talk to you about all these things. And yeah, coming from a medium, I'm going to show you how I protect myself emotionally, spiritually, and others that are with me. So if Attorney Nan goes out or Richie from Microdots goes out with us, who's going to film, and all this other, everyone will be covered. Nobody has to worry about it. There will not be anybody who takes anybody. It's no investigator left behind. So everybody that goes out will know how to ground themselves, do what we need to do, and go for there. So there we go. Yeah, Jason Hawes has a. I like Jason. He's top shelf. I like him. Did y'all get permission yet for 34 Fairview? Not. I hope so. Well, I haven't tried yet. Attorney Nan has just been so gracious and saying she would, and her fee, if you haven't known that, her fee is going to be that she gets to go with me. I'm so happy. Of course, I will pay that fee anytime. And but I'm going to do a little sleuthing there at 34 Fairview. I'm going to be, so I take my pendulum. I'll take some other little things with me as long as the owners are copacetic and everything is okay with them. That's my plan. I have some personal things that I want to take care of before I start traveling like that to far away places. And that's coming. So that's going to be coming soon. Yeah. On BB2, I have that same good feeling. And see, having someone as credentialed as Attorney Nan, and let's just hope that I don't look at her and say, ma'am, run, right? It's not who's buried here, it's what. I could have written a book on that little fellow. And when I say little fellow, oh my goodness, he wasn't any bigger than a minute. And his voice was very deep. I can't even emulate his voice. It was deep. But it was fun. I mean, I look back now and he's very endearing. I mean, I don't even know if he's still there. When I get to Tennessee, maybe I'll go and try to look him up. I doubt he's still working anymore. He's probably retired. So yeah, I'm looking forward to 34. I'm looking 34. But when I get to Tennessee, oh my lorsh, oh my lorsh, oh my gosh and Lord, all at the same time, there is a lot in Tennessee. I really don't want to do things where I am right now because quite frankly, some of the things that I've been around are not, I don't know the area I've lived here a while, but I don't venture out here. And it's because I don't have a desire to. So, but when I get back to Tennessee, it's Tennessee and me. And it's Tennessee, me, Lady Zelda Kelly. We will be going out. That's right. Heather C., is there a book or a video about you anywhere? I would be interested in hearing about how you discovered your gifts and how you embraced them. That's very sweet and kind, my darling. I probably should finish the book. I've done a video, I think a couple of weeks ago that explained when I first got into this, it was because my family recognized it was because of a doll and I was 4 years old. So and it just kind of went from there. And I've really been on my own. I studied at the Edgar Cayce Foundation. I have my doctorate in metaphysical sciences. I have a study in paranormal psychology, but I'm not a psychologist. Does that make sense? And the reason that I did that is because there for a while it seemed to be trending that a lot of these court cases were young men who would say, I committed these crimes of these unalivings because I was told to do it and that I would be fine. And this thing kept whispering in my ear, and that if I did this, then I would gain all of this and this and this. And then when they found out that that's not what was really going to happen, that they were going to spend their life locked up, they would go crazy. So for me, there's that fine line sometimes between sociopath and possession. And I'm fascinated, as those of you may know from going with me on Fate and Fortune, True Oracle, and our Manifestation Monday, I'm fascinated of how the mind works. I'm just fascinated of how different realities can come about, can different, No, Mary, I have not. I'm just fascinated. So, my darling, you're the only 10 I see. Oh, bless you, my darlings, bless you, bless you. But my idea in this is I take it seriously, but also let's have a little fun. I mean, we go out, Attorney Nan, who is becoming good friends. Attorney Nan, when she goes out, Jerry, anybody that goes out, you're going to see if there's something funny, we're going to laugh about it. I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, no, no, I'm so pious. We must. No, no, no. Life is to be enjoyed. And, I was thinking about this today. We've had these court cases and everything. And, we talk about all these things. And I have a little message for the McAlbert family. And that is, and this is my opinion, and you know what they say about opinions, but in this opinion, I believe is pretty much true. That many times we believe that we've got to take care of things here on earth, in this dimension, in this plane, because life is too short. And as far as I'm concerned, you're right. Life is too short. And that's why you got to do the right thing, because eternity is a lot longer. Eternity is something you can't fathom. It's centuries, millenniums filled with knowing that there was a wrong committed. So, yes, taking care of things right now would be a good idea. Hello, sir, do not. Taking care of things would be a good idea because because you don't know when the ultimate is going to happen. And just so you know, there was a thing going around on the talkie tick about September 24th going to be the rapture. Well, I'm here to say I'm marked safe. We're all safe. Marked safe from the rapture. That's probably the silliest thing that I've ever heard in my entire born days. It's a wonder I don't get banned on that thing. So I'm going to tell you, we missed it. I'll be walking around like this guy. So if you see me shuffling, you can say, there's Zelda. Run. So let's see, Zelda, all your readings this past month have come right on point. So thank you, Mary. Thank you. Y2K, yeah, right? Right, everybody? I remember sitting on my computer. I had a gateway computer. Rapture. I had a gateway computer. And I remember sitting in front of the computer, midnight, New Year's Eve, 1999, thinking, because I worked on the computer then. I was in the mortgage business, did this on the side. Pardon me, sir. And I thought, if my computer goes down, I'm kind of going to be in a world of hurt. So I sat there in front of my computer. Everybody's out celebrating. Oh, not Zelda. Sitting there. And it went click. That was it. Nothing. At the Mayan calendar. Okay. Thank you very much. There you go. Everybody was so partied like it was 1999. That's right. So, Pewee on that, I don't fall into that mess, and I'm not going to. But I had to tell you about this guy because you know what? He's faithful. He's faithful. He guards the cemetery, guards this. He's faithful. What are you going to do? My darlings, I think it's time for a little giveaway, don't you? This is what we're going to be giving away tonight. I'm giving away a 1-month subscription. I almost said prescription. Donk. A 1-month subscription to Stream Beacon TV. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, it is a streaming service that has nothing but paranormal and true crime. True crime. And who doesn't want paranormal and a true crime time? And I'm going to be giving away 1 month. 1 month subscription every Thursday night. The people behind this are the people from Holzer Files, Shane Pittman, Dave Schrader, and Cindy Kaza. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Now, I will tell you, I bought these in bulk, and I think I messed up the system. So for the winner tonight, please be patient. So when you win, email and say, I'm a winner. Don't anybody email me until you know you won. Okay? And then as soon as I get the new redemption code, you got to redeem the code, then I'll send it over to you. Okay? So bear with me, but I got to give this away because I want to do it from now until Halloween every Thursday night. This is going to be a lot of fun. And they've got original paranormal, true paranormal investigations. I cannot wait until they come out with, the series is called Paranormal Mysteries. And that was Shaggy that just Paranormal Mysteries. That's the one where the people had it on the Holzer Files. Here we go with the bang, Zelda. The Paranormal Files, and they're the ones who had the Holzer Files on Discovery Plus, and they canceled it. I don't know why. It's my favorite. They are like the truest paranormal group that I've seen. Okay, so let's get ready for all of you. I love it. I hope you win. Let me get rid of this and let me get my little giveaway screen, my little giveaway tool. Okay, so hashtag HOZ as in Zelda, House of Zelda. It can be lowercase, so don't panic. Okay, so here we go, my darlings. Here we go. There we are, is an examples. Start your engines, my darlings. Let her rip, taters, chips. And good luck. Good luck. My goodness. Someone asked for my email address. It is seeingcrime@gmail.com. Let's go. Let's go. Loving it, loving it. And I have to say this while you're all entering. Don't forget your grifting psychic. Okay? Got to say it. I can take this banner down. You don't have to have a trigger warning now for that. There you are. Let me see here. We'll put this little banner up. How's that? Let's go. Good luck to everyone. Let's go. I'm just checking my messages, making sure everybody is A-okay. Loving it, loving it. Misdemeanor left me a message. I just want to let you know. She is so kind. There are very many kind people in this arena. And she said how much fun she had while she was here and that she loved it and she will be coming back at the very soonest. Now, Halloween night is a Friday night. Zelda will be going live Halloween night. I don't have trick-or-treaters here and the lights will be off. So I'm going to be telling stories. We're going to be doing all kinds of little fun things. I'll have probably another giveaway. But Thursday night, the night before Halloween, so it will be Halloween Eve, I will still have the giveaway of this gift card. And then at the end of 30 days from the moment that you activate your membership to Beacon TV, at the end of 30 days, then, my darlings, it's up to you if you want to continue on or not. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I will probably be eating Halloween candy too. Thank you, Patty, so much for jumping in there. I appreciate that. Hi, Mama Bear. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Zelda, 60 kids here till 8 p.m. Can you give live after 8 p.m.? Well, you little darling. We're probably going to be going. I mean, you just don't know how Zelda is for Halloween. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things. All kinds of things. Yes, only once, my darlings. Don't repeat, because if you repeat your entry, thank you so much. If you repeat your entry, it'll kick you out. So just one time, please. I love Halloween too. I love Halloween. Oh my gosh, I know. I live in a different area that we don't have trick-or-treaters. I remember those good old days. The homemade costumes. Our choices every year were a gypsy or a bum. I always went as a gypsy. Go figure. Wasn't Misdemeanor just, she is so lovely. She wants to go out. Thank you so much, Captain. She wants to go out too, and I think that would be kind of fun to have guest investigators. Look out. Zelda may have her own streaming service. Wait, I do already. Hello. It's called this right here. Southern Ohio small graves, old graves along the side of the road. Oh, yes. Golly, Neds. Feral kitty. Isn't that wonderful? Now, in the month of October, we're almost there. Just to give you an idea, keep entering, my darlings. Keep entering. I want to make sure that we get a winner tonight. So, just one time too. Don't spam the chat. Just one time. I will have the vampire podcast. Now, I'm a guest on his show. He doesn't show his face. I don't know how we're going to work that out. I don't mind showing mine. Hello. But when that happens, I will send all of you over there. I will put a link in here. We may watch it from here. I don't know how we'll do that. But it will be, and it might just be one that is live. Hello, my darling Candy. It may just be one that is live and that we are in the chat. So in a premiere. So I don't know. We're having that, and then we're having a trivia night for Dark Shadows. I'm going to be having some making snacks videos. I'm going to be talking about old Hollywood videos, especially the Hammer films, you know, Werewolf, Frankenstein's, Mummies, Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, all of those goodies. Oh, nice, Amy. I have college students, and they are worse. That is very cool of Nan. Thank you so much. She's cool. She really is. I love cool, but hello. I love everybody, but I'm in California, but my dad's family is in Pittsburgh. They always say, Yuns. Yeah. Do Yuns want something to eat? Yuns? Uh-huh. And now, because of misdemeanor here last night, my lunches, instead of being the Plowman's, I'm going to keep true to my own ancestry and have the Abendbrot. Abendbrot. I heard that just as clear as day, and I haven't heard that in a century. Since I was young, my great grandmother would have Abendbrot. Abendbrot. It's actually Abend. I say Abend, but it's Abendbrot. Abendbrot. Went to West Virginia, asked for a pop. I'm in Ohio. I say pop all the time. I still say pop. People look at me and think, yeah, I say pop. I don't drink pop anymore, but I say pop. That's actual it. So are we almost done with the entries, my darling? Are we almost done? Lon Chaney Jr., yes. Then I'm going to talk to you about worldwide witches, because Abendbrot is like your evening meal, which is like a cold meal that is this side of deli food. You have pickles and good seeded bread, brot, cheese, and all kinds of goodies. All kinds of goodies. Thank you, my darling. Do you say pop, Captain? All right. All my pop people. Wonderful. Last call, my darlings. Mrs. Kravitz. I love it. I need to know about New Orleans witches. We're going next spring. Well, you probably won't see them. Most of the real witches you don't see. They don't mingle. Some of the most dangerous of the witches that I know of are the Armenian witches. Look out. And the ones from Scotland. They call them hags. I don't like that name for them, but that's what it is. The ones from Scotland, the ones from Armenia. Oh. They are something else. The Colorado girl in me calls it soda, but this Kansas girl started calling it pop. Okay, last call, everybody. Time to get in. Time to get in. I went to Oregon in the 80s. I walked into a store. The guy called it pop, and I asked me if I wanted a sack for the drinks. Yeah, a sack. You want a sack? My grandpa father, who was all Ohio, would call it a poke. Back in the day when I was growing up, a sack or a bag was a poke. And a green pepper was a mango. I grew up believing that and if you look that up in certain regions and in certain families, a green pepper is called a mango. I called it mango for years until I got married to a Navy man and started calling it mango. And he's like, weird. Well, That's the way it is. Isn't that funny though? My husband's honey, my husband's family in Italy had a line of witches in it, and the line of family protectors. Yes, we always have called it Coke in Kentucky. Yes, yes, and the what am I going to say? Something. I was going to say something. Have y'all entered? Have y'all entered? Because if you haven't, run. Right? Run. All right. I got to say that. Diet Coke spiked my blood pressure higher than regular Coke. I can't do the diet pop. I'm like Captain Jerry, diet Dr. Pepper, but I get started on those. It's not good for you. I just had to get off now. I'll drink unsweetened iced tea. They are calling me. Subroll called a spooky. Yeah. We call it can of Pepsi or can of Coke. Run. Hashtag run. I should have done hashtag run. Oh, Dr. Pepper is wicked good. It is. It tastes so close to the regular. I think we're done with entries. Don't you think, my darlings? I think so. It's time. It's that time. I've never been to the Queen Mary. Never been to the Queen Mary. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Is this Lord Gregor the one who is the vampire that is going to be interviewing me? Huh? What do I have to say? He knows it all. And yeah, get in here, my darlings. Get in here. Let's get this going. I mean, what do I know? But I'm going to ask him. He's known a few witches in his time. Might even be why he is the way he is. Let's go. Let's go. I do coconut water. Yes. Coconut water is very healing. Yes, ma'am. We done. Ma'am, run. I have pop in the fridge. It's been in there about 3 weeks with one missing. I buy the little cans. Yeah. Yeah, Captain Jerry's got her kryptonite, which is so I'll be buying cases of that when we're on. If Attorney Nan is here, I mean, we'll make sure that we're all eating very well when we go to this, and I mean very well as in healthy, because I like to make sure that everyone is very well hydrated and fed and everything before we go out on these things. So it's very good. I think that's it. I think that's it for us. Don't you, my darlings? What do you say we have a little getaway or giveaway? Here we are, the drawing for tonight's big gift. Here we go. Ann M. Annie M. Ann M. Hello, Ann M. You are a winner. Ann M. Please email me and say I'm the winner, and then I will send you a little goodie like this. I have instructions, but bear with me. It might be a day or two before I'm able to get, let me put this back up. Might be a day or two before I'm able to get the redemption code, because Zelda had to learn a lesson just not to buy in bulk. Hello. So there you go. You're welcome so much. You're welcome. Here, more cheering. Winner, chicken dinner. Now she can stay at home and she don't have to run. She ain't got to run. I'm going to be talking like that for 2 days. My bad. My bad. Congratulations to you, Ann M. How fun. Love it. So I will be sending you, email me, darling, in the next day or two. I'm going to be, once I get it, I'm going to send it over to you and we'll go from there. So next Thursday, we'll have the same drawing. Now, if you won, when you win, you can't enter again for the same prize, okay? So just so you know, so that makes it fair for everyone. So there you are. So just hang in there, because you just never know what's going to pop up and what else that we just may be doing, and what other giveaways that we have. I love it. So, my darlings, I hope you enjoyed tonight's little tale from the dark side. I'm supposed to be, Jana. I'm supposed to be. So yes, but not to 34 Fairview. Stop. Not to 34 Fairview. That's going to be Attorney Nan and myself. So but everybody has a schedule. Everybody has a schedule. Good question, Standing Stones. And by the way, I so enjoyed your email. So thank you so much. This is, who is that? That's Shaggy. Do you hear that? Wow. I have asked Attorney Melanie to come back, and she's busy, so we'll just have to see what her schedule is. I definitely want her to come back. Thank you so much, Amy. Thanks for being here, darling, if you've got to go. Now, so what was buried there? For all intents and purposes, what is buried up over the hill and down the ravine are people. I couldn't get close enough, but there were no names on the stones. But they were old like this. I mean, they were old and weathered. I don't know. Could have been a witch's family. It was supposed to be related. You can sit here and see that I'm thinking, and I'm seeing this vision in my brain, because I never thought of this before, but the graves were in a circle. So they weren't large stones. They were about, you see the bottom size of this stone right here, just this from here down. So they weren't large stones at all. Some were smaller, but they were in a circle. So I don't know. Hi, Charlotte B. Yes. So, looking back at this, there's always that hindsight is 2020, and always the bangs need. Pardon me. Here we go. There we go. Zelda, hello. I always have this one that is unruly, that just wants to be this one. There we are. So, questionable. I don't think anybody could ever get near them because of this guy. I mean, if you're standing there, he got very close to me. That was scary. But I don't know. So supposedly related to the Bell Witch in Tennessee. And that was a mess. The Bell Witch, that whole story. Oh, that was not good. But anyway, my darlings, we're going to be talking a lot about a lot of things. And I'm going to say, for the month of October, I want you to hear, because I want you to hear. And I want you to be here because we're going to have so much fun. And I might be doing some other lives in between these. So just so you know, because I'm going to be talking about real werewolves, the castle of Dracula, the real Dracula castle. I'm going to be talking about many different things. So hang in there. So, my darlings, I want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your gifts. Thank you for participating. I just love this. Let me stop this banner. I just love being here. I love telling these stories to you. And I especially love the fact that you guys are winners, all of you, in my book. It's going to be a lot of fun coming in the next few weeks, and it's going to go like that. So, just so you know, my darlings, everything is good. Watch out for the new readings that are coming. Don't forget to check out the Charlie Kirk reading that I did on True Oracle. For those of you who have questions, I'm with you. Something is different, and it's proven something is wrong. And it's about that particular situation of how it happened. So it's not political. I'm not getting, it's all with all respect. So just know that. So it's all great, my darlings. So there we are. I want to thank you again for being here. Thank you, Attorney Nan, if you are still watching. Much love, peace. I just heard geese. Now that's weird. Anyway, who knows what can happen in the House of Zelda, right? Thanks again for being here, my darlings. Until I see you next time, bye. And so the lantern fades, but the shadows remain. This story may end here, or perhaps it's only just begun. See you soon. Bye, everybody. See you next time.